Welcome to episode number 5. This is Yoni with A Puros Huevos. I have a phenomenal guest today. I'm super excited. As I've told you guys in the past, I'm only bringing the best, and we're only bringing the best because we want to contribute to the world, to the society, and now more than ever, I want to contribute to the youth. So I'm bringing one of the people that I know that develops the youth, that encourages the youth, and has a lot of influence in the youth. So with you guys, I have Dr. Arna.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's a pleasure to know you, Yoni, and you've inspired me throughout the years that I've been fortunate to work with your son. So we've talked about this for a while now, where you said that at some point we're going to get together and work on a project to kind of talk about our careers and how there's a lot of similarities amongst people that have ambitions and pursue success. And here I am today. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. So as I've mentioned you guys in the past, we're very selective on who we're bringing onto the podcast, and we believe we want to give light to, pay it forward. I believe that the influence, flows in a circle. The more you give, the more you get. And not that we're expecting anything, but it's just a law of a compensation. And we're trying to shorten the curve for other people, right? In this specific episode, we want to tailor to the youth, right? Those athletes, and also those not so young athletes like myself. That at one point this was our dream, to make it professional and to make a living, to to pursue our dream through this journey. And I know, like, a lot of the parents who are your clients, at one point they were athletes and they couldn't pursue their dream, but there is more to that, right? There is more to that, and I'm sure, and I can't wait to hear your story.
Absolutely.
So just tell us a little bit about you, who you are, what you do.
Well, I'm a coach by trade and by nature. I've always wanted to be a coach. I think that's one thing that separates me from a lot of people that get into this. I knew I wanted to do this and work with human performance from a very young age. Growing up, I always aspired to be a good athlete, but I wasn't necessarily born with the most natural talents. So I always found ways to work for those things and get stronger, get faster, be able to jump higher, whatever those things may be. And I always, I never really compared myself to others. I just wanted to be better than I was yesterday, but I always wanted to accomplish that task every single day. And I really mean that. And some people say these things and just say it to say it, but I rarely find people that really live by that mindset where I'm going to be better each and every day. And looking back at early years of high school and stuff, a lot of people would have kind of looked at me and said, well, this is where you're at now. There's no way you could get to a point where you're going to have a six-pack, or you're going to be jumping 30 inches, or you're going to be one of the fastest guys on the team. But I just thought, well, if I work at it every single day, then yes, there is a way. And I realized that the transformation I underwent in high school, where in ninth grade I was one of the least athletic people in my school possibly, and wasn't regarded as very athletic. And by the time senior year came around, I was jumping 30 inches. I was one of the faster guys on the team. I was stronger than almost everybody on the team. I was regarded as one of the strongest kids at school for sure. And then I just realized that as long as I work towards this could really take off. And I don't really care what anybody else thinks, because I'm proving to myself that I could do it. And then after high school, I had ambitions to play professionally. And it's just so funny how life works, because I played a semester at Fullerton Junior College, and I ended up going to Europe to study abroad the French language, because I have French citizenship. So I just was really interested in culture at the time. So I took a spring semester off of American school to go study at something called the Sorbonne. It's a very highly regarded university in France. And while I was in France, I loved the culture, and I loved the language, and I loved the flow of life, and it was opening my mind up to so many things that I just decided to stay out there and continue my education at the American University of Paris. And while I was there, I found out that there's a professional football team that you could try out for. And there I was again, starting to design a training program for myself, getting in shape. And people were like, how are you going to go to school and make a professional football team? I'm like, hey, I'm going to try. There's nothing wrong with trying, And I think that's the one thing that I would like people to understand, the youth more than anything else. Don't care about what anybody thinks, just try. But really try, give it all you got. And good things tend to happen. And if you shoot for the moon, if you miss, you're gonna find yourself amongst the stars, right? So I ended up making the team and traveling, playing at a professional level in Europe for 2 years, traveling all over Europe, playing football, playing games in countries like Russia, Austria, Spain, just all over, and seeing things that I wouldn't have seen otherwise, and living out my dream to a certain extent because I was competing in a sport that I love, and I attained the level of success I wanted to attain. That was one of my goals at that point, and I carried that over into everything else I do in life. Like I don't see things as failure. I see things as like learning experiences. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely, dude. And I didn't know that about you traveling to. So tu parles français?
Je parle français couramment.
Oh.
Yeah, and then, so that's like my journey, and then, so through that, I was passionate about sports and sports performance. So I got my master's in kinesiology with an emphasis on human performance enhancement, and then at that point, that wasn't enough because I also wanted to understand how like injuries work, rehabilitation works, and like being able to get people out of immediate pain. A lot of my athletes came with like back pain, or they would have half back pain in the middle of the session. I said, what could I do to address this now? And then I don't like really like outsourcing things. I like being the person that's able to as much as possible myself. So then I wanted to pursue a doctor's in chiropractic and understand how to like I could address that need of the athlete too. And then once I finished my doctor's in chiropractic, then I feel like now I could offer a complete service to people, whether it's performance enhancement, recovery from injury, or if they're injured at the moment, being able to address that injury. I think I could do all of it now.
Yeah, no, that's great, and I know, dude, you gave us so much information, not only on your degree, but on your career and stuff like that. So, and then if fast forward a little bit forward, what do you do now?
Now I think I would consider myself more than anything else a human development specialist
Love that.
in all aspects. My biggest strength is being able to take like a 10-year-old kid and build them for 8 years.
Yeah.
That's like my biggest strength. That's like what I do best.
Mm. And you said something really important right now. But you said 8 years, because when an athlete comes, they're super uncoordinated, and they come in for a month or two, and they don't get the success that they want. But that translates to real life. When you really want something, it takes time.
Designing short-term success is like, so like there's always like I call it like the gamble of life, right? Like if you want short-term success, it's a big risk and low chances of attaining that success. It's like playing the lotto, right? Like it's like you want to make money really fast now. I mean, you're very good with finances, obviously, right? How realistic is it for me to make money really fast right now?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and like, so like I could take all my money and invest it in something, but the chance of that working are maybe good, maybe bad, but the chances of that not working are also pretty high, and you're gonna lose the money, right?
Absolutely.
Long-term investments usually tend to be a more secure, more gradual, more sure, less risk endeavor, right? Like
Absolutely.
if I want to invest, say I want to make a lot of money now, and if I no, Yoni, I want to make a lot of money in 10 years. What can I do now? The chances of that happening are a lot higher than I want to make a lot of money this year, right now, with the same amount of money. I said, if I had $50,000 in a pot and I could invest it in a 1-year plan or a 10-year plan, you would advise me to go with the 10-year plan, right?
Absolutely.
And that's the same thing with human performance. A lot of these people come in, and like, unfortunately, we live in a society where like we have immediate satisfaction. Like you're hungry, you go through drive-through, you get food. You want you see a new shoe out, you could drive to the store and get it. You know what I mean? Like everything, like we're so used to being able to pay for something and getting a tangible item in return. And development is not like that. Development's like education. It's like me telling you that, okay, like I want to put Jaden, your son, in a calculus 2 class today. Calc 2, right off the bat. He's gonna be like, you sit him in calc 2, like, wait a minute, like I don't even know what's going on. But all the other kids that are successful in calc, cool, they went through pre-algebra, they went to algebra, they went through pre-calc, they went to calculus 1. There's a gradual progression to these things, right? Like you're not gonna just wake up and you're the final product. Like there's a lot of things that come into play, and performance training is no different, right? So you got to have the training age, you have to have the experience with the exercises, you have to have thousands of hours with those exercises so your body can adapt, because the stress in your body, you're forcing your body to adapt to an environment or a stress that's all artificially created. So like say you lived in the woods, right, and you had no choice but to carry 100-pound or 150-pound piece of wood every day back to your living area to survive, to make fire. Well, over a course of 600 days of carrying that wood, guess what? You're going to get stronger, right? Absolutely. Because that you have no choice. It's a survival instinct. You need to carry that piece of wood. Otherwise, you're going to die. You're not going to stay warm. Well, here, it's not a survival instinct to lift these weights. So you're artificially creating that environment that your body needs to adapt to get stronger for. So that's not going to happen in a month or 2 months or 3 months. It's not. It's like you're not going to become a real estate guru in a month, 2 months, or 3 months. You're not. If you're at home and the mothers that are sitting at home are trying to understand what I'm saying, I'm not going to learn how to make enchiladas the way you know how to make enchiladas in a month. It's not possible. Or I'm not going to be able to make pozole the way you make pozole in a month. It probably took you years upon years upon years to learn how to make your special recipe of pozole or tamales or whatever it is that you make that makes everybody want to come to your kitchen every Christmas or every Thanksgiving. I can't do what you do because it took years for you to do what you do. And it's the same thing with this stuff. Like, it's going to take years for it to happen. And then the other aspect of all this is that there's the physiological changes that the body undergoes. So like you could go training, but then there's a hormonal aspect. The hormones need to be secreted. Your body needs to recognize those hormones. Your body needs to start using those hormones. Your body needs to start recognizing and understanding how to more efficiently use those hormones. And those are all a process and a cascade effect that takes a long time for the body to understand. Then yes, after 8 years of training, then all of a sudden you come in and your body recognizes, all right, this is the movement pattern, these are the exercises, and you're able to activate these pathways a lot faster now because your body understands what's going on.
It becomes second nature, right?
Yes.
It just becomes by default. So
but it takes a long time for that to happen.
It takes a long time, and I like basketball a lot. And obviously Kobe said in his last speech that all those nights where you didn't want to wake up and you woke up, you got it. That's actually the dream, right? And if we're only thinking about, I know you coach a lot of like soccer athletes. If you're only thinking about academies or going professional, then you're not going to make the process enjoyable. I always say, don't look forward too much for tomorrow because you'll forget to live today.
In this world, there's absolutely no guarantee. So if you don't love the process, like don't even do it.
Yeah, you got to learn to love it. You got to learn it, and there's going to be good days and bad days, but that is part of the process. That is. So, just, I'm going to shift gears a little bit. Just what is your purpose? Like, what is your purpose in life? And that could be a very hard question. The first time they asked me that question, I had to really rethink that.
Well, I've been asked this question many times now, and I think it's to impact people positively through my passion. So, like, I use my passion with exercise and training and performance and intensity and all that stuff as a vehicle to serve a greater purpose, and that's to make a positive impact on someone's life. Because, like working with your son or working with other kids, like I can't guarantee any of these kids are going to be professional.
Absolutely.
And if for anybody out there that could guarantee that someone's kid's going to go pro because they work with them, they're lying to you. That's not. There's no possible guarantee. There's so many factors that go into making a perfect athlete that this is just one piece of the puzzle. There's so many other pieces: the technical aspect, the mental aspect, the ability to stay healthy, the ability to stay out of distractions. All those things come into play. The ability to have the natural genetic inclination, so be genetically gifted more than everybody else at what you do to be able to compete at the highest level, right? So that I can't guarantee it, but I can guarantee that if you work with me, you go through the process, you go through this hard work and understand how to go through something so tedious, so demanding, and so repetitive that you're going to be able to carry some of these skills to other things in life, whether it's rehearsing a certain exam or going over a study sheet of an exam an extra 10 times because you know that you were able to perform an extra 100 reps in my backyard. So what's the difference? There's no difference. It's just repetition. So if you're able to develop that skill of, okay, I could repetitively force myself to learn something that's not necessarily satisfying to do, but it serves a greater purpose. I think you would carry that skill set to everything in life.
Yeah. I always like to say, like, do hard things because obviously other things will seem easier. So in my nature of business, we prospect, right? We cold call and stuff like that. And people say, like, aren't you scared? Rejection and shit. And I was like, try waking up at 3:45 in the morning to the gym, cold shower, and then for 8 years, which is my, where I'm currently at. That's hard.
Yeah.
Every fucking day. No excuses. So that's hard. So, and through coming in here, I seen kids vomit here, my son included, like being so sore the next day. These are hard things that prepare for. And then once the games come, that's easy. Yeah. That's easy, right? So, I want to ask you. I don't know how you were impacted by this, but what do you feel? What's your feel about having mentors?
That's a great question, actually, because now in my life, I'm very selective on who I give respect to and who I let mentor me, because not everybody that's successful and that you want as a mentor necessarily wants to mentor you, if that makes any sense. Like, just because someone's good at what you do, they're older than you, they're more successful, and you have a lot of respect for them, doesn't mean that they want to take the time to 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 give you a genuine mentorship role. Does that make sense? Like,
Yes.
not everybody's gonna want to see you successful. Not everybody want to share their time or their knowledge. And I understand that not everybody, like, time is limited. It's a resource, so not everybody wants to just put all their energy towards someone that wants to get mentored. So now, like I'll interact with people, I'll approach them, and if I see that they want to take on a mentorship role, like they're speaking to me with like more detail, more attention, they're patient, then I'm like, oh, this guy wants to mentor me, and yeah, it's a great opportunity for me. Why not? But if I don't see that intent on the other end with people that like I perceive as successful, well, I'm not gonna beg for it either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
If it's there and it's a good match, and I feel like I could really learn from this person, which there are people like Tony's a great mentor to me, has taught me a lot in the last 4 or 5 years. He's my business partner, and he's always there and always available, and I never feel like I'm bugging him when I need help. I could always contact him, and it's always a genuine response, and there's always, no matter how busy he is, there's always time for him to listen to my question and give me a real answer. That's a real mentor. Besides that, like, if I don't sense that I could approach someone like that, then I'm not going to keep persisting and bothering someone.
I believe everything's based on energy based, and if they give you that energy back. So a lot of people feel that having a mentor has to be like labeled like he's my mentor, but it is not. Like, I know you mentor a lot of these athletes. I mean, how many kids do you coach on a regular basis?
Close to 100, over
Close to 100. So you have about 100 mentees, I would say. Yeah. And these people, I really want them to get this message across, because you've been through that path before, and whatever you tell them, it's for their own benefit and their own good.
I believe in two type of mentorship, right? There's direct mentorship. The direct is like very like straight downwards mentorship, where like you talk to the person, you interact with the person. That there's mentors that like you don't even know, but you could like indirect, like you observe them, you watch their action, you see how they behave, you see how they interact with people, you see how they carry themselves and how they construct their social media, and you start taking mental notes. Okay, like I should approach this like that because that's how this person is approaching it. And you're not necessarily copying them, you're just taking pieces of their style and making it your own.
Your own. Yeah.
That's the one thing I want. Like, always have your own personality. Like, don't try to brand yourself in something that you're not. Like, be your own person, whatever that may be, and keep building that brand over a course of 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, wherever it may be. But be whoever you are.
Absolutely. I know you. I know Tony. Great coaches, and you
both
very different. You know,
very different. And the way we interact with our clients are very. I'm more like the big brother type. Like I'm the guy that like you could talk to about like I'm gonna give you like if you're doing something bad, I'm gonna give you a direct answer and let you know you're doing something bad. But I'm also gonna understand where you're coming from and try to relate. And then like Tony's styles are very different. Tony's styles like he's the dad. You know what I mean? Like this, like, don't do it, cut it out. Like, there's no place for this in this circle. And that's it. And I think we complement each other very well like that, you know?
Yeah. And I think the similarity that it is you guys, and that I think that I can relate to, is the tough love. It's a tough love. You know?
Well, this world's all about tough love.
Absolutely.
Like there is no, like no one's going to be like, oh, like, you know, Yoni, I like you, so I'm going to allow you to sell my house. And even though you're going to get $20,000 less from me than this guy, I'm going to let you do it anyways because I love you. You know, there's no such thing like that. You know what I mean? Like if the guy's going to get you $20,000 more, you're going to go with the guy that's going to get you $20,000 more, period.
Yeah. So just be you, whoever you are. An athlete. There's a lot of great athletes that you coach, and out there, like all across Southern California, I think we will have one of the best like athletes across the nation. And to just be you. There's some things that you can copy from a certain athlete that he does well, and just kind of like brand it into yourself of who you are, what you do. I know there's a lot of coaches out there because I know them. They have friends who are coaches. What do you say that someone who wants to do what you do, and they want to make a career out of this? Because you could definitely make a pretty good career. Yeah. But just kind of, I always say, do it with good intention, and when you give so much value, the money will come. But what's your intake of the people that want to get started in doing what you're doing?
So this is like, training is kind of like acting, in a sense that like. It really is a skill, and you have to build a reputation for yourself. And there's a lot of hours and days and years of work that you're not compensated for, and you'll never be compensated for, to build that reputation first, right? Like early in my career, like I trained a lot of people for free. I didn't get paid for it. I did a lot of internships, a lot of countless hours of studying on my own. And when I launched my first business, that failed, but through failure there's success, and we could get into that if you want. Um, I learned to like really just like give without expecting to receive. Like when we first started our training facility, there was the first year we worked, Casey and myself, we worked completely for free, didn't get a single penny, or I was actually borrowing money from my mom to put gas in my car to go to the facility to train people, because I didn't have money to put gas in my car, and I was living off tuna cans and stuff, you know. So, and I was training 10 to 15 to 20 people a day, sometimes 25 people a day, and all that money was going back to the business, and I wasn't getting compensated for it. And at the time I was thinking, like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And when is the light at the end of the tunnel? But like, I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel until 3-4 years afterwards, when all those countless hours of work, like now these athletes that I trained 4 years ago, now they're hitting a high level of success. Uli scoring goals on the national team. Ralik's running the ball at USC. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, then that creates buzz. Uli, Ralik. Oh, who trained him? Arna trained him 4 years ago. Then now all of a sudden, parents are coming to me and they're willing to pay top dollar to get trained for to get trained like the people I trained for free 4 years ago. So always remember that there is a butterfly effect to everything you do. That means that ripple effect. So that one little ripple could ripple into something way bigger, but you have to give it time to grow.
Yeah.
And if you don't, in this trade, like if you want to get into it, I want to be a trainer and I want to make money today because I need money. Like, no, like you're going to have to supplement your training job with another job to have an income.
To have an
like
income.
You're going to be driving like Amazon or driving Uber or whatever to be able to make money for
Pay the
3-4
bills.
years until you get that reputation where now you can make money off training.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know that gym you had was in Bell Gardens of Garfield, right?
Yes, sir.
I actually went there a couple of times, and I know, like, and that's what I like. Another message, and hopefully we kind of see it. I see it because a lot of we're gonna fail in life, and failing, a lot of people see it discouraging, but I think that's really good, a positive thing, because it just gives you like a little break, how to like adjust. I always said calibrated adjustment. So just adjust and do it different. Adjust and do it different. So we're gonna constantly fail, but we always gotta fail forward.
I always like when I think about my career and like how I've came to where I'm at now. I think be like water, right? Like water could be still, water could be violent. Water will always find its way to the cracks, right? So like we had this gym, right, and then another company came and approached us and said, let's do a partnership. And we'll do business together or whatever. And I'm not gonna get to any of those details or anything like that. But the partnership didn't go through. Things were done that weren't necessarily things that I anticipated, and I was left without a training facility when that deal didn't go through. So at that moment, it was the height of COVID. There was nowhere to train, and I thought to myself, like this is a great opportunity for me to see what I'm made of. Like instead of like crumbling, saying I lost everything, I have no equipment. The next morning, I was supposed to train Christian Torres, actually, when I was told that I wasn't no longer allowed to train at that training facility. And I thought to myself, well, if you have all these years of education, couldn't you train Christian Torres at your house, in front of your house, and with the street lights? And then I called Christian's dad. It was like 11 o'clock at night. I said, hey, look, Mr. Torres, I know you're someplace for LAFC. I don't have, and I'm good friends with Chris's dad. I don't have anywhere to train him. Can I just train him at my house in the street lights? He's like, yeah, bro, for sure. Wherever you want to train, we'll train. And we had a great workout. I'm like, I could do this. And then then I thought to my mom, well, you have this garage no one's using. Can I move some equipment here and just train a couple clients here and there and like see where it goes and just study and not have to worry about running a business? I could just focus on my academics for now and then just let my ego go and let the business go and let all that stuff go. And before I knew it, more and more people were contacting me. More and more people were training at my grandma's house. Teams were contacting me to go train them. Like, where is all this coming from? Like, I lost a facility. I thought everything was like my entire reputation was based off that facility. So I didn't realize that I had a reputation that I could grow. I didn't trust myself yet. And losing that business and like regrowing and establishing everything in my grandma's house, people calling me, Christian scoring his first goal in the MLS, Ralik starting to break records at modern day, and like all my other athletes starting to really pick up. Like having conversations with some of the coaches at LAFC about like potentially getting a job there, things like that. Like I'm like, dude, this is like I'm building a reputation for myself. Like I got to keep doing more and more and more of this. And before I knew it, I was training 15 to 20 people a day out of my grandma's backyard. And you got to imagine there's no overhead. I'm not paying any money. I'm profiting 100% profit. I have all this equipment in storage that we're going to lose. So I just said, well, I'm going to go to the storage and take the equipment to my house. Grandma's house and keep people building there. And then before I knew it, over like 8 months' time, I had saved enough money to like tell my fiance, hey, let's just put a down payment on a home. Like, this is crazy. Like, it's pure profit. And then so we moved here. I didn't know if my business was gonna follow me here, but then I guess when you do good work, people want to come to you. And when you literally legitimately care about your work and make sure that every person has a good experience from your work, then when they walk out of your experience with like, well, that was a really good training session, and everybody could say that every single time, that speaks volumes, and that takes care of the business for you. Like, look, if like your son had a great training session with me every single time, right? How many clients have you referred to me? At least 4.
Yeah.
I know that for 4. Now, for every one person, if I get 4 clients, if I do it right, the formula right, and if I'm not lazy, a lot of people aren't successful because they're lazy.
Yeah.
A lot of people are freaking lazy, man. No one wants to work hard. But if you work hard, every one of clients should be at least 4 leads. Everyone should be 4 leads over the course of your lifetime with them. Minimum 4 leads. So if you do the math, 100 people turn to 400 people. 400 people turn to 6. It goes up exponentially, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And now my phone keeps ringing and ringing and ringing. And even when I moved here, I had that one. I moved here. I didn't have turf. I didn't have anything. We had a garage. I was training people out of a garage. And then I laid out that one piece of turf myself with a friend, Garrett, that we came in and shoveled it out. And then once I got that going, then I could start training people, bring in money, save money, and then slowly build the rest. And if you have the reputation, 1 to 4, 4 to 16, 16 to whatever, I think it's 48 or whatever, and grow, you got nothing to worry about.
You guys heard the formula, the guys, coaches who are trying to get started in this. There's, I want to say, like, because I've seen it firsthand with people that I know that coached really high successful people, athletes, that there's a lot of money you could be made here. But when you chase the wrong dream, when money becomes a priority over the value that you give, that's when things might not shift. The clients might leave and stuff like that. You got to over-deliver the value.
If you're doing it for money, this is the wrong thing to be in. Like get into something that like directly gets you money, gets you paid, whatever that may be. Like get into like, I don't know, like a trade that like electrical trade that guarantees $150,000, $140,000 a year. Because then you can count your hours, make your money, and leave. Also, on the other end of the token, like when you get to where I'm at in my career, you got to understand your value too. It's never about the money, but it's like don't let people take advantage of you, because people are always gonna want, hey bro, can you just do me this favor? Hey, no, like there's a hard line. This is my trade. This is what I do for a living, and I respect my living. So if you don't respect my living, then I'm not gonna respect your time, because you don't respect my time, obviously.
So I want to tap on something that I know when I don't know if you lost or the gym, whatever that kind of went south. Because we can all relate to that. I had a car accident at a DUI at 18 years old, ended up in prison, and everyone has had setbacks in their life. The young athletes, you guys might relate when you get cut from the team, when you didn't make the team, when you're going into a D1, you did the whole summer cap and you can only play in the second team and so on. And then what Arna did, which to me that was a golden nugget, is like you just pivot from that. Okay, all right, I can't dwell on it. Okay, we can cry for a couple of 4 hours, but we got to get our asses back up and then start grinding, execute a plan. And you've trained Christian Torres from the backyard, and I think Christian Torres in LAFC, right?
Now he's with Chivas.
Now he's with Chivas. So, these are like top level athletes, and now he was training them from the backyard. So we got to pivot whatever the situation is. And through COVID, a lot of people saw, we all struggled, but we have to pivot. Life moves on, and you have to pivot.
The way I look at it is there's a lesson to be learned in everything. And at the time, I really didn't know, because like you have to understand where I was at, Yoni. I went from like being at this gym where I own in Belgarden, basically doing all the work, overwhelmed with everything. Finally, like getting an opportunity to move into this bigger facility that has all the lights, all the flashy stuff, looks nice. Like it's just like it's Instagram like heaven, basically, right? And then like you have a team of people that promise you they're gonna help you with this. You're like, dude, my life's gonna get so much less stressful, and then I'm gonna be able to really get back to doing what I do, thinking about the science of training and stuff like that. And then when that was taken away, and like I realized like people always just want to take advantage of you, no matter how how well they decorate. At the end of the day, everybody's gonna try to see if they could take advantage of you. That's just the experience I got from that process, right? Like people are not gonna tell you the truth, and are gonna try to take advantage of you as much as possible. Like it turned into like, oh, you training here once in a while. Oh no, we need you all the time here, full time here. We don't even know when you're gonna get compensated as an owner. I was like, dude, this is turning into a nightmare, you know. And then getting home that night, knowing that I wasn't gonna be able to go back there and work. My mother said, I don't know what you're going through, but I raised you to make it through tough times. So figure it out. You have a place to train, you have a reputation, and you have a master's degree. Like if you can't train someone with a master's degree anywhere, then why'd you study? That's what she said to me. Like you should be able to train anywhere. Like you are the gym, you're the master, and like that really resonated for me. And then at the time, I didn't understand why things were happening. But then there's a little hill at my grandma's house that I used because basically the bulk of my program is based off this pulley mechanism, and then I wasn't able to use the pulley mechanism there, but the downhill slope of the hill gave me that anti-gravitational force to do the counter resistance training that I do, and that's where I developed the fourth, fifth, and sixth phase of my program. So like God was telling me like you weren't ready yet. Your program wasn't complete. You needed this. You needed this hill to be able to visualize and conceptualize how to continue your program, and that's where the complete package of my program was built on that hill. So had I not lost that gym and experienced that, I would have never been able to become the trainer I am today because my program would have never been completed. My program, like that hill was my freaking gold mine. Like basically everything that you know about my program that you've experienced, like the phase 4, 5, and 6 was literally born on that hill.
Wow. So for you guys getting cut, getting fired from your jobs, and not making the university you want to make, there's a big nugget right there that you're probably not ready for that. So you gotta keep adjusting and
and be water, keep flowing.
Absolutely.
Keep flowing, like keep going through the cracks, like just because you got cut today, like wake up the next morning and go back to your training session, contact your ball skill coach, go back to your grind, like because you don't know what's out there. Like you don't know what your deeper purpose is, and if you don't stick to it, then you're never gonna find out.
So, just to follow into the, one of the last questions that I'll be having, where do you see yourself in the next 3 years?
Just keep growing. Like right now, I'm doing some big things with a great team at Cerritos, with Coach Benny, with Tony. We're launching a lot of developmental projects for the youth. We're going to use Cerritos as a base, and we're going to be able to run a lot of camps out of there. We're working actively now to start a sports academy for the youth. We're looking at locations and starting to do some of the prospecting for that. So I think in the next year or two, that will be something that we're going to be announcing to the public and bringing to life, and just building our brands like across the southern section, whether it's football, whether it's chiropractic, whether it's our soccer camps. Like last year was a big year of growth, and I think right now it's a great opportunity to use that momentum and just keep blossoming,
Yeah, absolutely. And I can see you and Tony in one of those camps, because I believe that all these athletes, they have such a given talent, but at the same time we need to keep feeding off into their mindset, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of great athletes out there, and then you tap into the wrong circle of influence, and then that fucks everything up.
Like being able to stay away from distractions, because like the work never stops. Like once the work stops, like your success is gonna stop. And I think I've experienced it working with these high level athletes. Some of these kids get there and they take their foot off the gas, right? Like they're like, oh, I'm finally here, I could relax and stuff like that. And as quickly as you came up, that's how quickly you'll fall down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like you have to stick to the foundational stuff that got you there, whether it's the extra ball work, whether it's the extra meditation in the morning, whether it's the extra training session that gives you that boost above everybody else. Whatever those things were, the formula that made you successful, you got to go even harder in that formula once you're there.
I like John Wooden, UCLA legendary coach. He always talked about the fundamentals, right? You never stop doing fundamentals. That's what is it? Kobe, he saw it 100 free throws pre-workout and post-workout. So the fundamentals.
Well, the fundamentals teach you how to do a task that's not necessarily pleasurable, but that's repetitive, that's tedious, and mentally demanding. And if you could work on the fundamentals and do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, like to the point where it's nauseating, but you just know how to stick it out, then you could do a lot of things, right?
Yeah, I don't know who, Mike Tyson, Bruce Lee, whoever said, don't fear the guy that has 1,000 moves. Fear the guy
Yeah.
that has practiced one move 1,000 times.
Yes.
So that's it. So
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee. I was so off. So I call these a hacks for life. These are 4 final questions that I like to ask everyone, because these are like the golden nuggets to me and the secret to life. So like, how important in this field for you, and more than important than for the youth, the kids that you're training, how important is their circle of influence?
Huge. Circle of influence. Show me your friends, I'll show you the future. You know, it unfortunately it just takes, like, even if you have that one friend that like you know, like you have the personality, like, I don't do drugs, like, that's just not me, like I don't drink alcohol, that's not me, that's just my homie, we're cool. Like, it just takes one wrong car ride with that person, one wrong party invite or anything. It's not even hate, it's not even like anything bad or malicious, but like when you're hanging out with somebody that could, they're the potential. Like, what is it? Is it just thought psychology? If something can go wrong, it will go wrong. So there's a probability that something eventually will go wrong the more you hang out with that person. So, like, the influence, and you want to be around people that are like-minded, that are moving forward, that are eager, that start introducing concepts to your mind. Like maybe like I might be in performance, but I have a friend that's really into stocks, and might be like, hey, have you ever thought about this stock? Have you ever thought about investing in this stock? Or a friend of like, hey, later on, are you interested in flipping homes because you can make money in this? You know, you want to be around people that are like you, but it's something else.
Yeah.
That's it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So like just the real estate version of me, the academic version of me, the barber version of me, whatever. I have a friend that mentors me, and we're great. His name Hato, he's a phenomenal barber, and like he started off with just being a barber. Now he owns a barber shop. He's buying a second one, buying a home, and he's just me in barber version.
Barber version, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all energy based. So guys, like kids, especially you guys are in college and stuff, like, think about it twice who you're hanging around with. If they're, this guy does drugs and is always drinking. So I think Dan Pena says, what you walk with cripples, you'll learn how to limp. So just be careful who you're hanging around with.
100%.
I know you have your twins right now, who I see you enjoying them a lot. But tell me a little bit about your morning routine. Do you have one?
Yeah, it's a little. I'm a routine person, So like I always I woke up, like my agenda was set, weekly set, like everything. And I think the hardest curveball with kids is they're like at first I was like, I'm gonna stick to my routine, like I'm gonna do it, like I'm Arna, like if I can't do it, like who can? Like I'm just so I'm so stubborn in my ways, And I think that's partially why I was able to become successful, because I'm so good at setting out like a daily routine for myself. And 3 months in with the kids, I'm like, this is I was so frustrated. I'm like, there's no possible way. No, it's 6 a.m. Like, this is the time I should be in the sauna warming up. And then my fiance no, the kids are throwing up. You just can't. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's you got to take care of your babies. And now it's I learned how to put them first.
Yeah.
And I realized that over the years of doing what I do, 15 years, I'm so good at what I do. And I don't mean that in a an arrogant way, but I am really good at what I do. That I have the confidence to know no, you're gonna if you want to work with me, you're gonna respect my schedule.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, because if my family isn't comfortable, my kids aren't happy, then I'm not happy, and I don't care how successful I am here, because if I'm not successful as a father, then I'm a failure. Period.
Yeah. I always like to say our kids are never keeping count of the hours we work or the money we make or nothing. So we put them first. But you do, obviously now it's a fatherhood, so it's definitely a different face of you. But for those young athletes and stuff, would you suggest them to have a routine?
100%. 100%. You should have a daily routine. When I was not a father, I had I kept the same routine every single day. That was, my alarm clock would go off at 5 a.m. At 5:15, 5:20 in the latest, I was inside the sauna in the gym getting my 5-minute warm up in. Then I was going into my interval work. I was doing a 20-minute high intensity interval run, incline 8, speed 8, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off for 20 minutes. And it wasn't even the physical aspect. Yes, it helped because it was fasted cardio. I would lose weight or whatever. But the mental fortitude that you need to have to be able to push through that, at 5:30 in the morning, the last 5 minutes, you're gasping for air, you can't think of anything, all you're focusing on, like, I gotta get through this fucking grind, man. You know what I mean? And and in the last 5 minutes, like, I swear to you, I would always have that conversation. Is this the day you break? Is this the day you become a little bit? Is this the day you give up? I'm like, fuck no, I'm not. Never.
Self-talk.
Never.
I love it.
And I'm having an internal battle. And then, like, the last run, I'm there, like, okay, let's go speed 10, incline 10. Let's fucking kill this shit. And I tell myself, see, I told you were not gonna fail. And then after that, I'll go hit my weights, go in the sauna for another 20 minutes, then go cold plunge, and boom, like, the rest of the day, like, throw it at me, like, whatever you want to bring it to me. Like, you have no idea what I went through this morning. So if I'm willing to go through that mentally, I'm willing to throw it at me, whatever it is. Let's do it.
Absolutely. I love that, man. I love that. Thank you for sharing. So, I'm very big in personal development, and you might know that by now. Is there any books for these young athletes or entrepreneurs that are, following the podcast that you will encourage, or podcast books or anything that do you feel that it could help them?
No, I've always liked Tim Grover's work, like
Such a boss.
Yeah, like cleaner and the concept of cleaner and what it means to be a cleaner. I think like the one thing I want to say too, 'cause, like, I saw a question there where like how do you perceive yourself amongst other people in your you didn't ask me that question, but like in your trade, or like how do you compare yourself to others? I think, like, there's so many ways to do one thing the right way, right? That, like, find your way. Like, don't worry about what other people are doing. Like if I start focusing on this trainer there, this trainer, oh, this exercise here, that is, before I know, I'm gonna my mind's gonna convoluted, and I'm gonna lose track of, like, what works for me. I have my system, and I want to perfect my system. And the more I start thinking about what other people are doing, the less I'm gonna start keep thinking about my system. I kind of stuck with Tim Grover's work, and, like, that worked for me. So instead of trying to find many other people that, like, to influence my way of thinking, I just study, like, one person's process and just stuck to that, and, like, understanding it and mastering that thing. You know what I mean?
Relentless. That's the first book that I read from him, and it's such a good book. So, yeah, for sure. Those young athletes, and you'll really understand. I mean, for those who don't know, Tim Grover coached Kobe, Dwayne Wade, Michael Jordan, and many, many others, right? But, I mean, that'll just tell you a lot. So, I know we all know the Arna, that, the tough Arna that you come train over here. But when Arna's not, like, training, 100 athletes a week, what is he doing? What does he do for fun?
I love culture. I love history. I love to travel. Travel is my favorite thing besides training. So I'm always like looking at, like, fun vacation destinations, learning about the history of random places, and the cultures, how things came to be. And then besides that, now just, like, hanging out with my family, my kids, man. Like, my kids are my life right now, and just watching them grow, watching them hit new milestones, say new words, and just build a good relationship with them, so that I could be a good father, and they could be someone that I could be someone that they could connect with,
I remember we started coming, my son and I, we started coming with you, I think if I was pregnant, and now I see them running around everywhere. So they're growing absolutely fast. So just to wrap things out, how can people reach you?
Through social media, Instagram. They could my cell phone number.
What's your handle? Your Instagram handle?
It's Dr Arna .k-train.
Okay. I'm gonna tag them there, and also your cell phone or email that you want to.
Yeah, 323-482-7041. That is 323-482-7041.
Dude, I am excited. I can't wait to see what this 2024 has stored for you, and how many more athletes. Do you want to, just name drop any athletes that you've helped excel from a D1s to professional level?
Yeah, multiple. I mean, I've had the privilege of working with Jalen Neal. He made his appearance on a national team last year, and he's set to do some big things. I worked with Uli Yanez, who was at Wolfsburg national team. He had a minor setback for a big comeback. We're working on that. Raleek Brown, who was a running back at USC, now at Arizona State, set to do some big things there. And a bunch of other, Emma Cuevas, who plays for Galaxy. I helped him with his development. And
I know you have others right now a big generation of, like, juniors and seniors that are going to be, like, moving into, like, the next phases. And, but guys, it took years. It took a lot of years, a lot of belief of going into, like, training on the streets and so on. And the biggest thing for me is that, like, Arna did not crumble when the sink was sinking. So he just got off, learned how to swim. and you navigate through this situation. So thank you guys again for watching. Arna, thank you for making yourself available. I know you're busy with work, family. I appreciate you giving us the knowledge. I got a lot of gain from this, and I hope in a near future we can have this chat again to
Absolutely,
see
I would love it. This is my first podcast ever. I just really enjoyed doing it.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.